Hello, everyone. Jorge here with Avalos Cloud Native and Nexus Technologies. Nexus for linking, Nexus for connecting. If you haven't joined our community with Cloud Underground, maybe this is the time to do it because we preach about cybersecurity, AI, blockchain, and cloud native technologies. So today we have Michael Cardoza. Michael, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, George. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just seeing the trending and what's happening in the market out there in every single aspect from financials, politics, and the technology, where basically everything is merging together, everything is coming together, and how technology basically interfere with anything we do today. So we're gonna talk about what's happening today with a massive layoff with the CVEs and Matred and all the funding, which is supposed to end tomorrow. The transitioning of developers going from blockchain to the AI hype, and the rise of needing a lot more people with skills in cloud native technologies. So let's get going now. So, Matra, what's happening over there with the funding? What do you think about the massive layoff is happening and with the cybersecurity and all that?
Okay.
Can you hear me
Yeah,
there?
yep. So what's happening with all these layoffs is I think is related to the U.S. politics going on around. A lot of these companies, a lot of these firms are losing government funding, which is affecting private sector. It's affecting DoD contractors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Uh, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are scared right now, don't know what to do, don't know what resources are available to them or anything like that. That's where people like us come in, where we have this fantastic dojo where we can invite people to come join us, join our group, and they can learn new technologies, they can learn new tools, new ways of doing stuff for themselves to earn money or earn money for their families, et cetera, et cetera. Yep.
Yeah, excellent. So yeah, so if you haven't heard about Cloud Underground or my community, Avalos Cloud Native and Nexus Technologies, we also have Michael here, which is basically he's our main person for the AI section that we got. Like I said before, we talk about cybersecurity. Most of us were cybersecurity ethical hackers, and most of us have experience with government contracts. Michael himself is a veteran, right? Is that correct, Michael? A veteran? You used to be in the
Yeah.
army? Yeah. And
U.S.
so, so
U.S. Navy.
excellent, excellent. So what's happening is something that a lot of people don't understand is like, oh yes, technology is changing. So there's a lot of layoff out there, but at the same time, we got new roles, new positions that you could be taken if you like, as longer you operate your skills. So for whoever is out there and you haven't joined our community or you don't know what steps to take to keep your career alive, because this is now about survival. So if you don't basically step up now, 4 or 5 years from now, your career it will be dead. So it's already dying for a lot of people out there. So when you join our community with Cloud Underground and the DevSecOps Studio, you have the opportunity to basically work with cloud native technologies. With a lot of people still don't know what cloud native technology is today. So we're gonna talk about it in a bit, but at the same time, Michael in here, he's basically, I would call it the leader of our community. He's building AI tools, AI bots for blockchain networks, also for Web 2, Web 3. He's immersed into so much, and you can be learning a lot from him. So do you want to talk to us about the recent projects you've been working on with now that we're talking about cybersecurity, which our conversation started that way, how you are using AI to basically be detecting, anomalies and stuff like that, and now maybe that would be in fact a lot of the jobs out there.
Yeah. So as Jorge mentioned, I've been working on a project I called Firestorm. And what it is, it's essentially like you have this box right here, this box, oh, it's
We
blurry,
see
right?
a Raspberry
This
Pi, yeah,
box, it's
yeah,
Raspberry Pi. And what this box is in terms of cybersecurity, right? It can be your knock, it can be your detection engineer, it can be your SOC, it can be et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what Cardozo Services does, we develop custom AI solutions to go into this box. And it could be a Pi 4, Pi 5, as long as it's like 3 or 4 or 8 gigabytes of RAM. And we have this thing called a curl TPU, tensor unit. What this does is it powers it's the AI. It powers the brains of the machine learning, and that is the core function of this device. So we develop custom code, we develop custom AI, a self-learning AI to learn your network, to learn your behaviors, to learn your what is normal. And then from there, it goes on to detect what's abnormal, what is strange. It detects all the things connected to your network. It connects all the external IPs going into your network. For instance, public IPs, is that public IP coming from China? Is that public IP coming from Russia? Is it coming from Ireland? All these places that are known for hacking and attacking US companies or Canadian companies or Asian companies, whatever the case may be. It's a fun project. I've been working on it for a couple months now, and still haven't gone to the prototype phase. Just still working out
Okay,
how to
excellent.
package it, how to ship it.
So it's basically like IP reputation, which most firewalls they have. But the difference is that this you can have an AI NOP system or network operation center in this Raspberry Pi or in the public cloud or on premise, anywhere you want, but with built-in AI features. So for a lot of people who doesn't know about or doesn't have a lot of knowledge about AI, so the AI, we have a lot of different companies. We have machine learning, we have deep learning, we have Gen AI. And Michael, for the last year or so, he hasn't done nothing else just to learn a lot of AI, blockchain, get familiar with the smart contracts. He's so familiar with what we're preaching here: cyber, blockchain, cloud native, which is uh, anything to do with platform engineering as well. And in-house here in our community, we're focused on building assets. So if you're looking to build skills, come and join our team over here at the DevSecOps Studio. If you're a company out there and you're looking for people like us, where we build MVPs in-house. So I'm gonna share some of the stuff that I've been building with my team over here. So allow me a second here to share my screen real quick. Right, there you go. So, Michael, can you see the screen there?
Yep.
Yeah, so the first one that we got here, so with Cloud Underground, we have a business model. We call it the canvas. So it's basically 9 different steps or keys that are essential for you to launch your own business. So in the dojo, we teach you how to be your own entrepreneur, how to launch your own MVPs, and basically be competitive in the market, whether you want to find the best job out there for yourself, or you want to be an employee, or just basically start selling what you know or what you create, your inventions. So one of them, we have this canvas where basically we have in-house uh, network experts. When I say networking or network experts, we got people who knows about firewalling, like anything to do with firewalls, Sony Wall, Fortinet, Palo Alto, also load balancers like such F5. Some of them are cloud native technologies too. Routing and switching. And these people in here, we call it the drop squad for networking. These people learn anything to do with routing and switching and firewalls, load balancers, and at the same time, they know how to do observability and monitoring. This is one of the stuff that we're doing in-house here. Okay. The second model that we got here, we call it the Next Edge Access Keeper, the drop squad. It's basically a team who specializes in identity and access management, anything to do with root access and service accounts. So we have in-house products where if you learn this and you know how to master these tools, most likely you're gonna have a 200K job, 180K job, and this top-notch products that we use or we have been learning and integrating this with anything that we do will land you to be one of the expertise out there and get you out from the competition. We have another one called the Next Age Platform and Trust Squad, the third one here. So this is for people, entrepreneurs who are basically learning anything to do with platform engineering. So you learn how to use, Kubernetes, Docker containers, how to orchestrate all these containers. And at the same time, if you master how to basically host all the containers and systems, you can integrate this same box or the same business model with the other two, the first two that we got here. So you got the platform engineering team, then we got the network specialists, and we got the people who only does identity and access management, privilege escalation, all that stuff. So these people is in our house here, learn these skills that you don't get anywhere else, skills that and products that this information is not basically open to out there. But because we are in the market and we know what's trending out there, we need these people in house because we know where technology is going. We know what products to use and how to basically secure the products. And at the same time, a lot of companies are investing a lot of money out there using public cloud services such as Amazon, Entra, Azure, Alibaba. And you know what? To have someone who knows the skills for networking or virtual private clouds and Amazon plus the VNs plus the whole architectures, companies need like $1 million sometimes to get started, just hiring the people and to have expenses in the public cloud. But what about if you use the underground Nexus, which is a product that is built in house, totally open source with cloud native technologies, right? So in Amazon, people use the Amazon EKS. Well, you can use
Yep.
the underground Nexus. And then if you're a company, you don't have the $2 million to risk to see if it's going to work or not, trying to find the best talent out there to manage his solutions. Well, maybe you can come to the dojo too. If you're a company, come to the dojo, use our in-house product, which is fully tested, automated, and then we have people in-house for pretty much anything. So
Oh
what do you
yeah,
think? What do you think about this, Michael?
yeah, that's impressive. Very impressive. Even myself as a company, I don't use public cloud. I made my own private cloud. I use open source tools. My overhead for cloud technologies is $0. $0. And
Amazing.
all my products are Podman containers, or Docker containers, or Kubernetes containers, whatever the case may be. It's all done through zero trust networking on the application layer
Excellent.
of the OSI model. So the host system, which is what you're hosting your cloud on, it doesn't touch those services, cannot touch it, adding that extra layer of security. And these are things that you also learn in the DevOps Jojo. You learn the security aspect of it and how to implement these things.
Yeah, so basically, with once you join our community and you learn the business model and you learn all the technology you're using, you're basically your skills go from one level to another level at in every single aspect. So let's say that okay, you got a company who calls you for a job and they give you okay, we got this budget. Listen, just use our in-house product, which is totally free. The Underground Nexus, which is a product from Cloud Underground. It's just a platform with Kubernetes, Docker containers, all automated. And you learn how to customize your own IDPs, your own internal developer platforms out for you. So you don't have to basically spend $2 million to take a risk to have some developers doing work for you. So with this box, everything is about automation, security. So it's heavily into the DevSecOps, right? We practice that, we preach about it. And on top of that, listen, you can have a drop squad that we call, and it could be you can have only 4 or 5 people, and you don't have to worry about infrastructure. Just giving a VM with a Linux machine with Python or whatever they use to do machine learning or anything you can think of front end development, and customize these IDPs. So the moment you learn cloud native technologies, the moment you learn platform engineering, okay, you can customize your boxes the way you want to do it. And it could be an MVP you could sell yourself, to be honest. Right, Michael?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So I'm going to share the other projects that I'm working on. Let me go here. Share again, and you can see that. All right. So now one of the MVPs that we're working on, since we know the hype of blockchains. Okay. So what is blockchain? Blockchain is a peer-to-peer network. Okay. We know most people is familiar with Solana. Most people is familiar with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and many others out there. Okay. But there is something that people don't talk about often. There is also centralized blockchain, basically made for enterprise networks or enterprise blockchains, where you can basically customize your blockchain to see what nodes can participate on the network, what organizations, what users. So you have total control of the blockchain. And to be honest, the moment you start using blockchain networks, and you start putting smart contracts on top of the blockchain, which are basically applications. So it's just relate blockchain to networks and smart contracts to applications. You create a front end for that smart contracts to interact with the blockchain. And basically, in the future, you will not need a lot of network engineers. You're not gonna need a lot database administrators. Why? Because the blockchain comes with a ledger. It comes with own database, right? So
Yep.
we're learning how to customize this blockchain. So anyone out there who is a smart contract development, or you are a blockchain engineer or a front end, come and help us customize this MVP that we're building together. And this is the real schools. This is the real learning that you will get by working with us and learning with us. And again, there is a few business models that we do where we teach. We work with Cloud Underground, and they do most of the legal paperwork and all that. A lot of mentorship from them, and it's amazing to be part of this community. Michael, there's something that you would love to say about the platform engineering, the blockchain nexus IDP?
It's fantastic. The idea behind it has a lot of potential, and the fact that we're doing this stuff probably before other people are doing it, really puts us in a advantageous situation, and this is something that anyone can get involved in. Maybe you want to learn blockchain technologies, maybe you want to learn these things. Now's the time to get in, right?
Exactly. So basically, it is a time to get in. Why? Because in 2 or 3 years, once companies start moving into blockchain technologies, they want to have their own centralized version. Maybe you can have your centralized version blockchain in your company, but you can integrate that also with the centralized application, which is still growing. So decentralization is still growing, will not stop growing. There's a lot of technologies every day out there for decentralized blockchains, smart contracts. So what about if maybe you want to you start learning now, and we give you a box, right? So we talk about the underground nexus, which is a platform engineering box, all cloud native, but we're building specifically an IDP for blockchain. We give you, okay, this is the link for you just to click, and you pull the blockchain enterprise already ready to go with observability, monitoring, and you don't have to worry about the blockchain. The job is already done. You just click, pull the container or the Docker container or Kubernetes or whatever, and then boom. All you need is just smart contracts developers now,
Yep.
right? So we're doing the same thing, and we're building an IDP for whoever's smart contracts developing out there. Why? Because we saw a lot of hacks. A lot of the developers were not taking care of the passwords, secret keys, and stuff like that. So since our boxes, similar to the underground nexus, are all DevSecOps, no security and all that, we got GitLab involved there too, scanning, pushing and stuff. Um, we thought that, well, we can help with that problem by developing our own sandbox or IDP specifically for smart contracts. So the moment you get a smart contract in that box, you develop it, you test it. Hey, you can test it on the first MVP number one, which is the blockchain. So now you see how MVP2, which is an IDP for smart contracts, now could be integrated with MVP1 for blockchains. And now we have MVP number 3 that we're working on too, which is the SRE box for anything observability and monitoring which it could be integrated too with MVP1 and MVP2 for
Yep.
tracking changes. Let's say blockchain. So if you want to monitor the nodes, peers, and the whole blockchain stack, hey, you can use this box. Just spin it and send it slots or anything you can think of. Send it to this box. So all these boxes are basically, you can integrate them with each other in the end. And the moment you get these skills, I can guarantee you that you will get a job. I can guarantee you that you will probably become someone new by having all these skills. Okay. We have another one, which is the MVP number four here. We call it the AI Nexus Brain Box. Why? Because, everyone knows ChatGPT, everyone knows, all these LLMs out there that people use online. But now there is a huge problem about privacy and your data and all that. So Michael have been learning about how to customize your own LLMs in-house for air gap systems and the military or anything else you can think of where you need to protect your data, but you also need that brain in-house, secure and basically protected by your own organization, team, or whatever. There's something else something you want to tell us about it, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, just imagine having your own private AI, cater to your use case. Whether you want to use this AI for blockchain technologies, you want to use this AI to business automation, you want to use this AI to automate your PAMs, your IAMs, your whole business can be automated using these tools, using these IDPs, using these AI Nexus Brainbox. And what's best about it is that they all work together. It's one huge ecosystem. And it's just not like, it's kind of like you're making Legos, each piece interacts with each other. And that's what's amazing about this thing is that you don't have to be an expert in one thing. You can just
Exactly.
be, yeah, you can just be well rounded. And I think companies who are trying to learn these things, get their employees involved, will really benefit for our services. They'll definitely benefit.
Yeah, so whether you are a company out there looking for people like us, where we preach about and learn about all these technologies, and we know how they work, we know what they do. If you want to talk about networking, we all know networking here to the fullest. We want to talk about security, endpoint security, network security, frameworks, hacking, security operation center, security information event management. No, this is in-house skills in here, and not just that. When it comes to infrastructure in general, from hypervisors to the whole stack, from hypervisors to the containers of VMs to the networking, and much, much more, and how you can basically you can custom these boxes the way you want to do it for whatever you're looking for. And instead of using the public cloud, instead of hiring people with the right skills, instead of taking the risk for something you can prototype in-house with cloud native technologies, in-house with Kubernetes containers, whether
Yep.
it's Podman or Docker, we can do that in-house here for you. We have the community, we have the people. If you're an individual, come on board. If you're a company looking for someone like me, Michael, and our community, hey, reach out to us. Okay. So we got a lot more MVPs on the roll. And you know what? There is no way for you not to operate or step up in your career and to not stay behind, because in the next 5 years, if you don't get on board now, what's going to happen with your career? You're going to lose it. AI is going to be like smarter than the whole planet, everybody here. And what are we going to do with that, right?
That's what people are saying. You're gonna have a AI singularity in like what, 5 years, 6 years, something like that.
That's correct.
Gotta get
So
in good while you can.
So what about if you learn how to customize these LLMs in-house, and then you can use it for the network box that we're building? Because our network box, which has observability and monitoring, gathering all this data, hey, we have an air gap library here that will basically help
Mhm.
us to do a lot more. If we have the platform engineering box, right, for Kubernetes and all that, well, we have an in-house LLM in-house that can help us to do things. So eventually, we're gonna have bots doing things around the network, checking, going in depth, like this bot will be running across the cluster or the Kubernetes section. This bot will go, another bot doing networking stuff, another bot checking look what we use for identity and access management. So the security now with
Yeah,
the stuff that we know, it becomes basically zero trust, but in solve.
absolutely, man. And this even benefits like the small, medium businesses who cannot hire those kind of people. Like maybe they don't have the resources for that. And then they could just simply buy a box, buy a box from us or rent it from us, and it's plug and play. Very little management. It just does it the thing. It
What I
just
like
it just does it.
what I like about what we do here is that no matter where you are, what architecture, I want to talk about cloud agnostic because this stuff that we're building in-house is cloud agnostic. Basically, you can spin these containerized systems, which is a complete platform in the public cloud, in-house, in any architecture, whether you're using Intel,
Hmm.
AMD, ARM processors, it works anywhere. So there is no limitations for what kind of hardware do you need to make it work. Of course, for the in-house LLMs that we're trying to build, we're not putting the heavy stuff because we want small people, not small people, but people with less resources to be able to use these LLM in-house air gap systems because no, when it comes to hardware, it can get really expensive, right? Especially for
Oh,
people
very
like
expensive. Like AI it's a huge investment. But what if you get something that's just good enough, good enough for your purposes, and it's accessible to everyone just to learn how it works, or they can use it in-house.
especially
Yep.
for countries with, let's say, a lot of countries in South America or Africa, hey, they have the right to start using this technology too. We can start shipping these boxes up there. They don't have internet, but let's let them to have access to AI and help them with matters, information that they didn't have before. Let's say they want to type how to create a water system, stuff like that, and they can start getting information to solve their own problems because with the past they had no internet, they're disconnected from the whole planet, and I guess unless the government helps, there's nobody else. But what about if they have a computer and
Yeah.
start having ideas and they start, I don't know, they want to create a water system, they cut a pipe over there, they create a pump somehow, and then they can
Yeah.
basically find their own solutions. Okay?
Just imagine you have one of these boxes, you have it filled with all of the information you need to run a village, all the information you need to to irrigate your crops, whatever, you know, you can download all the information and pre-install. We can pre-install it for you guys, and you have access to it forever.
Excellent. So if you're a company, an individual out there, and you want to have custom basically towers with LLMs, air gaps in house, Michael can advise you what to buy, what to install, and because we have these MVPs ready, hopefully soon, you just can pull the container and that's it. You can have a complete system that can integrate with a lot of stuff out there. You don't have to have internet if you don't want to. You can have your own blockchain in-house, centralized. You don't have to have internet to reach out to the decentralized blockchains, as Solana, Bitcoin, and stuff like that. If you want to
Hmm.
have a network monitoring system or SOC, SIEM, or whatever, you can have it in-house too. You don't have to have internet. We just ship everything for you, ready to go. You just need to customize your parameters to see where do you want to send your seed slots, and that's it. Do a little bit of networking there for IPs and stuff like that. So it would be nice. I mean, we're doing this, but at the same time, we need people to help us because it's a lot of work. We got the networking section, we got the AI, we got uh, the identity and access management, we got cybersecurity, and the more ideas we got, the more people we have in house, the better it is, the faster it is. But at the same time, if a company is out there listening to us today, hey, reach out because we got plenty of ideas, and I think that we have everything in house with the experience that we got to create much MVPs out there. right? So we could be valuable for you, and having skills in-house, having real technology in-house is a great advantage towards the future, because right now it may not be the biggest team, but 2 3 years from now, when companies say, I can't afford to have a quantum computing, I can't afford to pay for all these services of the cloud, and taking the risk to get hacked in the public cloud, and then my bill is like $3 million suddenly because you got hacked, right?
Yeah, even there's an instance, a company in Australia had uh their their retirement funds attached to the Google Cloud. What did Google Cloud do? They accidentally deleted the database. Like over $5 million gone in an instant. And then they had to fight to get that money back.
That's
Like,
great.
are you gonna trust a public cloud with your valuable information, with your money? Me? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now, like, if you don't notice, the internet is breakable right now with quantum computing. And now hackers out there are basically just collecting keys, public keys, public keys. By the time they start having this quantum computer in their hands, in the palm of their hands, like the one from Microsoft that's it's gonna come out anytime soon, they're just gonna start hacking everything. So everything looks so unpredictable right now with technology. Politics is just so it merged together. But you know what? We need people who wants to innovate, people who cares about the future. Because if you don't care, we care. We want to have jobs. We will have families. And whatever we like it or not, it's so important technology today for us to protect um, our country, for example, right? To be able to fight back to, imagine that every country, every business right now, I'm in Canada, Michael is in the US. Just imagine that every country, every business right here in Canada and the US start getting hacked right now, right? They lose money or they throw ransomwares, right? Companies gonna go bankrupt probably. Okay. On top of that, if
Yeah.
let's say they don't get hacked, but what about if they don't have money to buy quantum computers or anti-quantum computing system to avoid these attacks? Because that's the future. Like quantum is something huge these days. Encryption is changing too,
Yep.
and maybe you can't afford or you don't have the skills in house. The skills sometimes is a problem. Budget is a
And then
problem.
where are you gonna get them? Where are you gonna get those skills? Where are you gonna get those people? That's where we come in. We have those skills. We are those people. Maybe you want to train your guys to learn about post quantum security. Yeah, we can teach you that, guys. We can teach you that stuff. We are very familiar with these things. We know about a lot of companies who are using them now. And our goal is to equip everyone with these tools.
So basically, learning technology is part of our national defense wherever you are. You are in Canada or
Yep.
US. Like we are the future, and it's important for us to keep businesses alive. It's important us to keep our country alive. It's important for us to innovate because other countries are not stopping. We just see China now coming with different elements and different, like, for example, DeepSeek. It brought down, like, how was it? It crashed $6 trillion in the market,
In an instant,
and then
just for being free for a moment.
yeah, just being free. We also have this tariff and everything that's happening, and then it's crashing the market. So everything now is crashing the market. Everything makes the market
Hmm.
go up and down easily like that. And technology is always there. It's always something to do with technology, right? So that's why some countries like the US now wants to be the capital of AI, the capital of crypto. And it is important because if we didn't do that, I think we will be in a lot of troubles. Because if we didn't do it, hey, someone else gonna do it. China is doing it. Africa, all these countries are getting together, doing, technology and innovating and trying to be the best of the
Hmm.
best for what they do. Okay? So with our MVPs, the ones that I show you today, again, if you come with us, you could be part of. There's basically many careers for you. You can start with the networking box, or you can start with the AI box, or you can start with the blockchain box or the smart contract box. You can integrate all of them. The truth is that when you go for an interview or a job, and they see the terminology you get, you get to talk about pretty much anything. Like people is gonna think this person is well aware of what's happening out there. He's talking about quantum. He's talking about smart contracts. He's talking about blockchain. He knows the budgets and money and the benefits of how to save money and why the reasons of why it's more secure or not secure. Like this person can bring. You don't even need to know all the coding or the tech, but you could be working as an advisor. Like myself, I don't know every single like, oh yeah, I'm a super genius in Kubernetes. I know every single thing. No, I play around, I implement it. It gives me an idea, and that I start putting pieces together. Right now, people is specialized in doing uh, custom boxes for Kubernetes and AI because Kubernetes needs to work properly with those GPUs, for example.
Yep.
So now they need to be aware of how the GPUs work with the hypervisors or Kubernetes. Now people need to be aware of how an AI bot works in the blockchain. Or in the future will be about AI bots. So who queries the data? First of all, what is it that you need? How do you query the data? How do you present it? How do you sell it? And in what systems? So this is getting so interesting. Yeah. I'm just gonna share one of
Yeah, it
the.
is. Now imagine if you had an AI in your Kubernetes cluster, to help resource management or stuff like that.
For sure. Yeah. Michael, I'm just trying to see if I want to share this image that I have. Allow me a second there, because I got a few questions for whoever is watching us today, and see if we can actually. I'm gonna say entire screen. Okay, I'm gonna share the entire screen. I'm just gonna minimize
Okay.
this. Okay. So we got a question here for whoever is watching us today. So the first question that we got: are you looking to learn and grow in tech? Right? That's a question you need to ask yourself. Do you want to be part of the future? Can you see that, Michael?
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
yeah, good. So the other question is, are you ready to lead in IT? Because I mean, today, to be honest, it's not enough that you only know SQL Server or just know firewalls or you just know hypervisor. Like I find that challenge in most jobs that I've been or when I'm doing consultancy work, when I'm talking to someone and basically I have to go from A all the way to Z or whatever letter because I see like most people is like, okay, if you are the PKI guy, that's the only thing that you know sometimes. It's like this person is that's the only thing he knows. He doesn't know anything else, right? He just learned how to click or run the commands, and that person is stay there. I'm gonna give you a quick example of what's happening with me or what happens to me a few days ago with a customer. So we were working with I was trying to manage working with an antivirus vendor out there, and
Hmm.
one Windows OS servers were doing their patches as usually, right? Every week, Tuesdays, or whatever. So this new patch was basically skyrocketing. It was putting the CPU so high, up to 95% for most VMs. So Windows OS servers, I was getting the patch, the CPU was so high. So then I started getting a lot of tickets about that. And I was like, what's going on? So I discovered it was Windows patches, something to do with, some DNS service and stuff like that. So, okay, this is probably a false positive, it's obvious to me or whatever. So
Yeah.
for me to escalate that case, I had to tell, I was talking to the system admin and I said, please send me a screenshot of the hypervisor or the cluster itself so I can see the spike of the whole cluster hosting all the
Hmm.
VMs. And the question for that person, it was so funny. I'll tell you why the question. That person asked me, is that relevant? I said, yes,
What?
yeah. I was like, of course, we got so many VMs. It's not gonna send me a screenshot of every VM. Send me the entire hypervisor or the cluster itself to see the spike. So don't do it for every single VM because there were so many. So it's gonna send me like millions of screenshots for CPUs for every VM. In my mind was like, wow, this person cannot just think further. So because I was trying to escalate it. So if I send a screenshot every single hypervisor that we were having in the company, they say, wow, every hypervisor is at 95%. So this person was asking me if that information was relevant. And I was like, I can't believe it. He reached out to me for CPU usage in every single VM that he has, but he couldn't think further at the hypervisor level. Well, with me, with Michael, with Cloud Underground, and the whole community that we got here, we teach you how things are connected. What are the basics? From the hypervisor level to Kubernetes or Docker or VMware or
Mhm.
Promox, all that stuff. You learn it with us, and then you could think further when it comes to troubleshooting a problem. Okay, so we want you to be a leader in IT, and this is a really good question. The next one is, what will you do in the AI revolution, right? What are you gonna do if you don't upgrade your skills? If you don't step up, what are you gonna do that in 3 or 4 years? Just your career is lost, no money, no income. Well, you may have to start doing maybe some trade work, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of those jobs will be like, maybe it won't be well paid, because if you don't do it, someone else will do it for less money. Everyone will be competing for those jobs, right? So
I mean, trades is a totally different monster. You have skill sets within trades at different levels. Someone who's a master easily makes over six figures.
for sure. So if
So that's
you're
from my
just
experience. Uh, I do a lot of electrical work on the side too. Not just IT, AI, and other stuff. I get my hands involved in just about any kind of work, any kind of field, just because I need to be active. I'm a type of person who just needs to work with my hands and not sit on a computer all day.
Exactly. So the physical activity is so important. That's why I'm standing here today. I do my push-ups and all that. But you know what? Sometimes in my career, like I've been doing IT now for technology for almost 20 years. And sometimes I was like, well, this is fun, it's great, amazing money, amazing career. But sometimes I feel like I miss like maybe hammering something, or working in the field, doing any journeyman work, let's say a carpenter or whatever, it's something that I guess most of us sometimes think about it. It could be normal. I don't know what it is, but it's not just me.
Yep.
The next question is, what's holding you back? And I'd say, let's talk. So if you feel stuck in your career, because a lot of people sometimes like, oh yeah, I'm taking the GRC training and auditing and this and that. And I'm like, what experience did you have in IT? Oh, no, I was just a programmer. So I don't think that person is like, as someone with just, if it was a developer only, like for, I don't know, just a Python thing or something, it will not be like considered to get those kind of jobs. If you're doing auditing and GRC and frameworks, it is nice when you know about hypervisors, networks, firewalls. So
Yeah.
when you're auditing the system, you can do real recommendations and ask the right questions. What did you do here? How did you do that? How do you do this? So I just see a lot of people like cyber, they're lost. So cyber could be many things, and there is many areas of cybersecurity, right?
Yeah, that's a huge monster to deal with. And you have a bunch of niches inside cyber because, like you said, it's a huge field. You have different areas in cyber like vulnerability management, patch management, IAM, PAM, networking, uh, security architect. You have even programming involved in cyber. You have so many different things. It's hard just to choose one, or it's hard just to even break in general because you need to have a strong foundation.
Exactly. That's why when people is looking for those jobs and they ask for over 10 years of experience, like I don't blame them, because it's not like, oh, it's only endpoint security, but endpoint security could be many things. Maybe you got an
Hmm.
antivirus, you may have a behavioral product, then you have a DLP product and a bunch of like 10 different products on the endpoint alone. So which one do you want to choose? Because the DLP version of endpoint is a monster itself, right?
Yep.
Managing an antivirus for, I don't know, 100,000 endpoints out there is quite challenging. Sometimes a lot of work sometimes too, and you need to think. There is a firewall on the endpoint, but there is also a network firewall. There is a proxy on the endpoint, but there is also a network proxy, and things get complicated. So how come you're doing auditing and you don't understand what is deep packet inspection, SSL, endpoint proxy, network proxies? Like this gets so complicated, and cybersecurity is just like, oh yeah, I do cybersecurity. Like tell me what you do. Like I want you to talk to me and see what is it, because
Yeah. Speaking of what you said right there, I had a client recently. Um, they're taking a master's in cyber, and he was trying to set up a zero trust networking. He had no idea what he was doing. One of his assignments was to set up a zero trust network using this tool called OpenZD. And he mentioned before he was scammed by some other people saying that they're familiar with zero trust, familiar with OpenZD, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it turned out these guys, they only know like the bare minimum. They just know the zero trust concepts, not the implementation of zero trust. So I was working with this guy for a few hours. Like I started like I think at 10 a.m. Didn't stop till like 1 a.m. And he has no idea about networking, and he has a master in cybersecurity. He has no idea how networking works. Like what?
that's crazy. And I see a lot of people just lost. It's so much information out there that people don't even know where to start, to be honest. Like,
Yep.
to be honest, for me, I got into cybersecurity because I was a network engineer, for quite some time, and that was my path. And then I became an endpoint security person, and then I started connecting with many different teams, and I said, okay, I understand. And now, at this point of my career, it's like, wow, I got so much information to share, but not just about cyber, not just about networking, but everything that gets involved,
Hmm.
from the cable, from the fiber or copper to the hypervisor, from the hardware, from the wireless to the containers, the VMs, the OS level, the root access. You got so much to think that it is impossible for someone to go to school for 1 or 2 years, take a college program, and just say, "Yeah, I'm a cyber person." Well, I'll do an interview, and then this is the reason why you should be joining to me, because a lot of people is going to college right now and they just cannot get a job by the time they're done. They wasted
Yep.
30K, 40K in a career that they never got started because they didn't have someone like me or you or anyone in the community to share this experience. Of course, we got a premium that people pay sometimes for joining our community because we don't do all this for free. We got work. No, we got customers to serve. We got, um, we're busy too. So, but at the same time, we got this premium is for us to get people in house because
Yep.
we share information that they don't get. We allocate time for them, and we make these people assets because the moment we share all this information and they engage with us, we want them to stay. We want them to keep coming back because there is no school like this, to be honest. So, best information ever.
Yep. Right at your fingertips. All you gotta do is join us.
For sure. I'm going to share too a little bit of our dojo, so people can have a sneak peek of what we do here. So let me just move this over here. So you can see the Discord, Michael.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, this is the DevSecOps dojo from Cloud Underground. Let me see if I can I cannot see all that. Okay. So we have different channels in here. Okay. One of them is general chat where we talk about many different topics every day. We're talking about how people are losing their jobs. We share projects that we're working on. Michael was sharing this hardware accelerator he's working on, the dual edge TPU, which does like I think it's 6,000 transactions per second or something like that.
8,000. Actually,
8,000,
8 trillion.
8 trillion. And then we will
Eight.
have our business canvas, which uses different, which teach you how to basically put a business together, but using these components here, key partners, key activities, what you need to do, what's the value, something simple and easy. It doesn't have to be, an entire corporation with millions of dollars. And If you are a customer, you're a company out there, you reach out to Cloud Underground, and they will allocate what they call a drop squad, a team that will say, okay, these 3 people can do this job alone, instead of spending millions in the public cloud, instead of spending $500,000 for 5 people to do the job. We allocate you maybe 2 people, because these boxes are automated, self-healing, AI stuff. There's so much to share that you need to see it for yourself. So this is a general chat every day. We keep each other connected somehow, and we have this section over here where we teach cloud native technology. If we talk about Kubernetes, service mesh, zero trust networking, cybersecurity. We share our experiences. We talk about so many different topics, and we got this section here, which is Michael. He shares his data, whatever he's working on, in the AI section. And we got another one over here about blockchain technologies and how you could be working on decentralized networks or blockchains and centralized blockchains. I mean, I've been in cryptocurrency too, but we don't talk much about cryptocurrency. It's not a cryptocurrency place. We talk about the technology behind cryptocurrency, which is basically blockchain. Okay.
Yep.
We talk about job hunting and so much more. Like you can see by yourself here. And on top of that, we got a system where let me see if we use Jira where we share our projects and what we're working on. As you can see the one for the job spot, what is going to be there, what people will learn, what we need people in house, how they do observability and monitoring. And it's a business model that you can actually adopt, and actually you can earn by doing consulting work with us. You can actually sell, you can train. There's many ways of making some profits if you like. The only thing that you need to do here is just to put the time, engage, and keep helping and building with me, with Michael, with Cloud Underground, and everybody else. Okay. Michael, I think we're gonna be wrapping up pretty soon here. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
Oh no, man! I'm ready to go to bed.
Or
It's good. It's really good to conversate with each other. It's been a while since we've done this. It's good to get caught back up.
sounds good. And we're gonna keep doing this more often. So because we want the people to engage, we want the people to learn, to step up. It's important for me, for you to be healthy here, to be aware,
Yep.
as a society, as a country together. And we're gonna keep going with this information that you don't get anywhere else. When it comes to the market, when it comes to technologies, when it comes to products, vendors, open source, and much, much more. Michael, it was a pleasure talking to you today. We spent almost an hour here. It was amazing. And have a good night.
Yeah, man. Have a good night. Peace
Okay,
out.
thank you. And reach out, and we'll send you the link for the dojo. And you can find us anywhere else, everywhere else. Like we got links all over the place. So see you soon.
See ya.
Yeah, see you. Bye.